In this lesson, I will build upon what I taught in the previous lesson about Python functions. I have a list here that has a combination of odd and even integers. In the first example, I am going to add up all the even numbers and add up all the odd numbers and return both of them. And in the second example, I will separate even numbers and odd numbers into their separate individual list, one for even and one for odd. In this process, I will cover how we pass a list into a function, how to use global, how to perform a for loop within a function, and if condition also within a function, and also demonstrate how to return multiple values from a function. So for the first example, let me take two variables. Let me call them as sum, even. I will initialize it to 0, and another variable by the name of sum odd, and set it also to 0. Next, let me define the function. Let me call it as return sum, even, sum odd, and here in the parameters I'm going to parse a list. I'm just saying input list. Next, in the body of the function, I am going to use a for loop. For x is the variable, and this will iterate over the input list. X in input list. Next, I will use the if condition. If you want to check whether x is even or not, and for that I'm going to use the modulus operator. X modulus 2 equal to 0. Then I want to add this to sum even. If not, I would want to add x to sum odd. And then I would want to return sum odd and sum even. Okay. Now, next I could do result equal to return sum even, sum odd, and feed the list li into it, and finally print the result. Now, if I run this code as it is, it will throw an error, and the reason for it to throw an error is because here in the scope of the function we have used two variables, sum even and sum odd, and we have not initialized them. And to get around this problem is to use the global keyword. But before I enter that, let me just run this and show what the error comes out to be. Okay, this is what it will throw an error. Unbound local error, cannot access local variable sum even. Okay, so let me just add here global sum even, sum odd. We clean it up and run it again, and here we have it. So again, here you can see 120 followed by 100, because what I have returned is sum odd first and sum even is after that. Okay, that's the reason we are getting the odd sum of odd numbers first and then the even numbers. So the key things to remember here in this example are how to use global keywords, and in one line we used for two variables the global keyword, and the way we did it was using comma. Similarly, in the line number 12 we use return to return both sum odd and sum even. Okay. Now let me move to the next example where I want to demonstrate how to separate the even numbers and odd numbers into their individual lists. So I'm going to take two lists. I'm going to call them L even, and I'm going to initialize this blank, and similarly or L odd, and initialize it to blank. Next, I'm going to define my function. I'm going to say return even odd lists, and here I again say input list. Likewise, just like in the previous example, I'm going to run a for loop in it. For x in input list, if x modulo 2 equal to 0, then we say L even dot append x, else we say L odd dot append x, and then return L even and L odd. And finally, I can simply say print return even odds lists. In this feed li. Okay, let me run this code. And there we have the two lists that we wanted to extract, the even list and the odd list. And again, these examples should give you more confidence about the functioning of Python functions. I would recommend you to go ahead and try out these examples and be creative and try some more combinations.